Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, the Blazers have won 5 of their last 6. They continue their homestand tonight with the Magic in town. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. Matisse Thybulle is out. Jeremy Grant questionable with ankle soreness. The Blazers are 5.5-point underdogs. Doubleheader on TNT this evening, tipping at 4 o'clock. It's the Hawks at the Cavaliers. That's followed at 6:30 by the numbers 2 and 3 teams in the West. The Rockets at the Grizzlies, In college ball, number 16 Oregon men's hoops in Los Angeles to face UCLA tonight at Pauley Pavilion, 7:30 tip. Coverage here on the Fan starts at 7 o'clock immediately following primetime. The Ducks are 4.5-point underdogs. And the Portland Pilots also in LA to face the Lions of Loyola Marymount. Tip at 7. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. And round 1 of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am at Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill. And at the top of the leaderboard, currently a 4-way tie with Jake Knapp, Colin Morikawa, Cam Davis, and Eric Van Rooyen, all at 5 under par. They are 1 stroke clear of Matthew Pavone, Austin Eckroat, Akshay Bhatia, Justin Thomas, and Lee Hodges. For sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny Meringue pie?
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon. Hey, welcome in. Happy Thursday. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing.
You're doing? We're doing good? Doing good? You got a haircut yesterday.
I did.
You got rid of your locks and flow, although it is a little bit misleading on the YouTube streams if you're watching on the YouTubes.
We'll throw it up.
Yeah, you got it trimmed up top. You no longer look like.
Say what you want to say.
Well, no, I am going to say what I want to say. I was just trying to. It was a difficult flow to put into context here. It reminded me of you were trending towards the dude.
It was getting there.
Yeah. But you have trimmed it up, and when you came in, I was like, oh no, because it's short on the sides when you wear your hat. I didn't know if you went like skin on the sides,
burst fade.
And then you went to the slick back up top with like maybe a top pony, which if that's your haircut, I'm sorry to tell you that's not a good look.
No.
You don't have that. You got a good haircut. You got a trendy haircut.
I
Looks
did.
good.
I went to a very nice barber shop.
All right.
I lost the war of my wife.
Yeah, well, that will happen.
Yeah. It's
called marriage.
Yes. The person I made the bet with released me from said obligations.
All right.
And the wife said something that was very funny, although also very cutting.
Oh.
And so it had to.
It was something that was
Cannot.
very un-HR of her.
Cannot be repeated on radio. But it made me laugh very hard. But yeah, I went and got. I literally walked into this barber shop and he's like, "What do you want?" I go, "Surprise me."
Oh! I bet for a barber that is equal to like when you walk into a bar and they're like, "What's your favorite drink?" And the bartender's like, "Okay," or what's good? And you're like,
Yeah, that was always my favorite.
"What's good?
What do you like?"
What do you like? And you're just like, I
literally hit him with a look, man, you're not gonna. There's nothing wrong. Do what you think looks good.
Yeah.
I was like,
I wish you would have put steps in your hair.
If you would have done lightning bolts, I would have been fine with it.
That would have been badass, dude.
Because worst case
Second
scenario,
grade.
look, worst case scenario, you know what I would have done?
Oh, no. What?
Shave my head.
Yeah.
I've got a big round noggin that looks just fine with a shaved head.
Well, I think it was first grade. First grade, I had my school picture, spiked hair, steps in the side.
Mine was second.
Wearing like a Bill Cosby sweater.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was all Puddin' Pops and Cosby Show back then.
Yeah. Eat your pudding.
I definitely have the
Puddin' Pops.
I had the button up on with the steps with the spike.
Dude,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah. We all
Yeah.
have that picture.
Oh, yeah. There's one of my brother family reunion picture, and right as the picture's being taken, he points his head to the side so his mullet could be in it.
Nice.
It was sick. Good golden flow. He had blonde hair. It was a great look.
High school, I've got the frosted tips. Sophomore year.
Mm-hmm. And puka shells.
Yeah, 100%.
Boy.
With the Abercrombie jersey, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Like the
No.
what do you call it? No, it's not a jersey. It's like
I have no idea. I have no idea where we're going here.
the 3/4 sleeve, like
rugby shirt?
Rugby shirt. That's what
Yeah.
I was looking for.
Yeah.
The jersey rugby shirt.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I was I intersection of all of it.
Yeah,
but
you just hit all the trends in one. You're just like, I'll do it all.
Yeah, my
Just
freshman year,
give me the
though,
works.
because I was still so young. Because I was 13 my freshman year. I was a freaking child, but I had the middle part.
Oh,
middle
you had
part
the butt
with-
part?
Oh, middle part, and it was down to about my cheeks.
It's the
like
older,
mid-cheeks.
what's the old brother in Home Improvement?
Yeah,
Brad? You
Brad.
had the Brad
Yeah,
look?
100% had the Brad going. But yeah, I transitioned to like the spike fade. Like sophomore year, we did a lot of visors.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of visors.
This is a regrettable time. Dude, you're just describing Jamie Kennedy from Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yeah, I mean,
that was...
Again,
Did you...
sophomore year, I'm like, what, 4 years ahead of that?
Yeah, instead of FUBU, you went with Abercrombie, though.
Oh, yeah.
That was your
Oh, yeah.
pivot, and that's where you and Jamie Kennedy diverged on your paths of Malibu Most Wanted.
100%.
Yeah.
I ultimately worked there for 2 years.
Of course. Why not? Yeah.
You know, why not?
I had a buddy who did that down in L.A. He worked at the L.A. Abercrombie, where they literally did not wear shirts.
Yeah,
they were like, you stand next to the door, you don't wear a shirt,
I was a shirtless Santa.
and you're probably going to get groped. Don't think that flies these days.
No, God, no. No, literally out there. So they told us to wear 2 layers of boxers.
Yeah, double that undies.
Double it up.
Yeah, double
and make
those
sure you had
undies.
the remember the thick, fat, like cotton ones with the fly button.
Mhm.
So you wore 2 of those, flip flops, and a Santa hat. I'll tell you what, Washington Square Mall, cold in the winter.
Yeah,
Cold in the winter.
not great.
Not-
Different than L.A.
Not great.
At least you weren't in Minneapolis, though. I mean, there's levels to this.
Did have a couple cougars.
There we go.
They were on the prowl. They were on the prowl. That was the thing.
Hello.
Yeah, I was too stupid to understand what was going on at that point.
Marcus, darling.
Yeah. But no, I got paid a.
Russ got that
there
one.
You go.
Russ knows that one.
Yes, I do.
I got paid.
I'm not wearing any panties.
Was it $17 an hour to do that? Which back then was
That's big money.
crazy money.
Yeah, that's big money. Well, I mean, there's hazard pay, obviously,
yeah.
to that.
And again,
You get
Washington
scratched
Square,
by them cougars.
Washington Square Mall, November, early December, cold place to be.
All
Cold
right.
place to be.
All right, Vancouver Ford text signs is already on fire. What's up, you animals? 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. Speaking of haircuts, do you guys like when your stylist chats with you, or do you prefer silent mode? Ooh,
I'm a
good
chatter.
question. No way,
Yeah.
you are?
Yeah, I love it.
It's not surprising to me at all.
Dude was cool as hell. We were talking
Yeah.
about he's not into sports, but he's a big he's a drift car guy. He's got a bunch of like TikTok content.
Okay,
It's-
that
it's a-
bothers me, though, when they're like, I'm not a sports guy, but terrible driving, that you get control at the last second. Yeah, I'm into
Big
that.
fan of that.
That's a big sport.
No, he's an automotive guy.
That's cool.
Which he did not put off automotive vibe.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, car guys, I'm jealous of.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Why?
because I know nothing
You just don't
about
know
them.
anything about him? No. I got lucky and I grew up with my dad and my uncle like rebuilding cars, so I have the ability to do things.
Yeah.
You know, I can do the oil, the fan belts, the spark
Yeah.
plugs.
Oh, YouTube can get me through most
But that's
anything.
the
yeah.
wonderful thing now. It's
Yeah,
like
you could do YouTube.
when we were in our 20s, that wasn't a thing.
Not a thing.
So you either had
I
to
was-
know or somebody who knew.
I was printing my directions off MapQuest.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
And in high school, when I was first driving,
Thomas Guide.
Thomas Guide, dude, I felt like there's sometimes where I raw dog it, man. I'm
No.
not using my phone to
No.
get to where I'm going.
Land nav, baby.
No. It's like, do you remember we used to give our directions where it's like, yeah, you're going to the third fence post, that's white.
Yep.
Not like there's going to be gray ones in there. That third white fence post, you're going to hang a left. Now, that fence post is on the right-hand side of the street, so you got to have that head on a swivel. It's going to come up on you pretty quick. When you see that bad boy, you take a left there. and then you go down, and you'll know it when you see it, but there's a yard that is not well kept.
Yep.
And you're going to take a right at that bad boy.
And it's going to stand out. And the
Yeah.
other one is like, you're going to come to like a street with like a row of churches. There's the blue, there's a white one, there's a gray one. The gray one, the street after that, you're going to take the left.
That's right.
Like if you hit the big red mailbox, you've gone too far.
Yeah, yes, 100%. You always had to have the if you've gone too far marker.
That's right. Yeah. You've gone too far. We don't have that anymore.
No.
Now we have Morgan Freeman on your ways telling you to take a left, and you're just entranced by it.
If I had Morgan Freeman doing my directions, I'd turn those back on.
Yeah, you could do Morgan Freeman.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of voices that you could do. I don't know if you can still do it. I turned all of that audio off.
What about like the Swedish Chef?
Left.
Did he say left or right? Left or right?
500 feet. Bear right. Whoop-de-doo. Turn around. Yeah, maybe. To answer the texter's question, I'm going to go with it depends on my mood. I'll talk it up, and if I have a barber that I see regularly, right? Like I got my dude Michael up the street now.
Yeah,
dude, I'll rock with him. I talk with him.
I'm in search of a new barber because my barber moved away during the end of COVID.
Yeah,
I think I might have found mine.
Oh, cool, good.
Right down the street from us here. So
yeah.
it's a nice little shop. So.
All right. Actually moved or
yeah,
died?
moved
Moved to the big house upstairs.
Yeah,
Didn't die from COVID. He just moved out of state.
Nope, moved down to Scottsdale.
Hey, I had a barber, and a while ago she moved down, and I was like, she was great.
Mm-hmm.
She was great. And I was like, well, she's like, yeah, I'm moving to Scottsdale, and I was like,
a lot of money down there.
That sounds okay. You're a hot.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a good fit
place
for you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Would you have a salon that you're going to go work for? Or no, I'm going to go into waiting tables. I was like, that actually, you're probably going to make more money doing that in Scottsdale.
It's an obscene amount of money. And if you're remotely attractive, you can make an absolute killing down there.
Yeah.
Good times.
I said, good luck finding that husband of yours.
It's worked.
She's like, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's worked for a lot of women.
Hell yeah, dude. She rocks.
Yeah,
she was great.
Shout out all those barbers who have your relationships.
Yeah, so I'll go with the mood when the mood strikes me. And if you have a regular barber, you should not be in silent mode. That should be somebody that you talk to.
It's a relationship,
and that's why you are there regular.
See, I felt like I was on a date in a sense because I'm like auditioning barbers, so I'm probably talking even more than I normally would. Because I'm trying to feel this out. Like it's got to work here.
Well, it's also like on their day too. Like they may be having a rough day. Like maybe they're not chatty,
or maybe they want to do a little dump on you.
I don't like that.
They're having a rough day and they want to trauma dump on you.
No, man.
But it's a good bond.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
we'll see. I don't think so. I don't think it always works that way.
Have you ever done like the shave and frame?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. I don't have enough facial hair for that.
Try it. Try it one day. Do the facial and the shave and trim and hot towel. It's a good deal.
When I was in college, there was a barber a couple blocks from campus. I believe his name was Cal. $4 haircuts, and he did like the straight razor neck shave and the hot towel and scalp massage and everything. Yeah, $4.
Oh boy. Wait,
$4.
Times are changing, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of major haircut changes, me and my brother have a bet on the Super Bowl. I took the Chiefs, he took the Eagles. Loser has to do what Joe Burrow did to his hair at the beginning of the year.
Go full Eminem.
Bleached and buzz cut. Me and my brother both have long brown hair. His is more like Justin Herbert length and style. Mine is curly. Oh boy. It'll be a big change. Yikes.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Hold on. Can I get I have a follow-up question to that texture. How old are you guys? Because if you're like
in your 20s, it's fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're like
48,
yeah, and all of a sudden you show up to work and they're like,
midlife crisis. Do we need to call somebody?
Do we need to check your bag for drugs?
Jim, you want to come over? We need to talk to you for a minute. Is everything okay with you? This is a big change you're going through. Oh, you lost a Super Bowl bet. Okay.
Why are you making childish bets?
Actually, this makes more sense. Yeah.
Let's face it, his name wouldn't be Jim. It would be Kyle or Chad.
Jimbo. Hell yeah. You go by Jimbo.
I mean, I'm sitting here saying this, and I made a bet at 40 years old to grow my hair out. So what can I say?
Dude, there's nothing. That's fine.
Yeah, right.
It's totally fine. You gotta have a little extra juice on something.
I will say, it feels weird, like not because it was literally sitting on my shoulders.
Yeah. Okay.
It feels weird to not have it now.
What?
Like
Yeah.
there's like a little faint breeze on the back of my neck, and I'm like, that's kind of weird.
It's awkward. You're making me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing what I can here.
You're good at it. All right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? We've got updates coming in from the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama. There are alarming and striking allegations coming out against one very famous NFL player today. Justin Tucker, kicker for the Baltimore Ravens. Boy, we have another instance of a notable NFL player and massage therapists that is starting to gain traction from the Baltimore Banner publication. So this is
Independent reporting.
and it has gotten pretty hairy for Justin Tucker real quick.
Man, it's cooked.
Yeah, and it's really it's an interesting situation to see how the Baltimore Ravens handle it based off of the way that Jim Harbaugh addressed the Deshaun Watson situation. Now, I will say, before we get into any of the Justin Tucker stuff, the aggressiveness and egregiousness of Deshaun Watson, it is not the Justin Tucker levels, but that doesn't make what Justin Tucker did.
Oh,
and
it's
that should
nasty.
not be the defense of Justin Tucker one bit.
Allegations.
One bit. The allegations against him are not okay.
No.
And he's punching back, and this is going to get ugly on all fronts here with Justin Tucker. So we got that we need to get to. And then I saw something that blew my mind, and I need to get y'all's opinion on this. If you got invited to the Masters, would you play in the Masters tournament? Us individually, because there is a person that is a far bigger man than me. And we will discuss that coming up. Where we got to start, though, let's talk about the hometown team, the Portland Trailblazers. They got a game tonight. Orlando coming into town. 7:00 tip. Can I say I do like that it's not just 3 games anymore on Tuesdays and Thursday nights?
Yeah.
Like,
It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, we have a little bit more than just the TNT games on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Sprinkle it around.
So Blazers play the Magic tonight, but there's a big change a coming for this team. What would be the move that makes the Blazers better in the long term, but not in the immediacy? Trade deadline is a week from today. This is Danny and Dusty on The Fan. Portland Trail Blazers take on the Orlando Magic tonight, 7 o'clock tip in Moda Center. What move can the Blazers make in the next week that would make them better in the long term, but not in the immediacy? Because we talk about this with the trade deadline being a week from today. We look at it and we say, you got to make a move. You got to move on to some guys, from some guys. This team is winning too many games right now.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you look at it from the aspect of, all right, well, if you're going to make a move, what does that look like right now?
I think for the Trailblazers, the thing you're looking at is moving a veteran for a younger player. Some version of that. And I don't think Jeremy Grant is going to be that guy. I think if they ultimately deal him, it's for a protected first kind of a deal. The ones that kind of always get floated is like moving Anthony Simons for some package to Orlando that includes a Anthony Black or a Jet Howard, a younger player, Anthony Black, a 6'7" guard wing type, who is not going to give you 25 points a game. Like the Blazers lose Anthony Simons and don't bring back 20 plus points per game, they're gonna get worse. Like you can talk about Scoot and Shaden all you want, they haven't produced at the level that he has over years. They're plenty capable of turning in a nice game, but the thing about the NBA that leads to winning, it's not just talent, it's consistency within talent. And even Ant has struggled with that this year. So if you do that and you swap him out for one of those kind of guys, then yeah, I think you're looking at definitely taking a step back. But in the long term, somebody that could develop a little bit later. I think
you said Jet Howard,
yeah,
Juwan's kid.
Juwan's kid, yeah,
okay.
He's a shooter.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit lower on him than I would be like an Anthony Black, but I'm just kind of looking at young guys that are out there. Another one would be like Rob Williams and something, because they would need to find something.
Both those guys, Anthony Black and Jet Howard, by the way, Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando Magic. Yep. Rob Williams and something to Houston for Jabari Smith Jr. Rob Williams, when he's on the floor, is one of the best defensive players in the NBA. There's no arguing that. That's what he is. And Jabari Smith is not. Like, I like Jabari Smith Jr. In fact, in that draft, I liked him as the number one overall guy. I still think there's something there that's kind of untapped, but he also looks like he's a guy that's going to get squeezed out in Houston. Now, nothing that I'm saying right now is like deals that have been discussed or reported or anything along those lines. These are like the idea of what I think would impact them negatively in the immediacy, but in the long term could pay to potential dividends.
Help them out in the long run.
Yes. But a guy like Jabari Smith Jr., who 6'10", shoot the ball, plus defender, still young, still growing, can kind of continue to go with this core and kind of matches more of the timeline, so to speak, that everybody wants to bang the drum on. Mm-hmm. So sick and tired of anybody being over 24 years old. People are screaming about, he's not on the same timeline. I'm like, you don't know what Scoot Henderson or Shaden Sharp or Donovan Clingan or anybody's going to be. There's two players on this roster right now that I'm sure of, as far as like mattering going forward. 100%. Toumani Camara and Denny Avdia. Beyond that, still a lot of show me. So if you can go out there and stockpile guys.
You wouldn't put Clingan in there yet?
No. Look, no. Do I think he's on the upswing? Absolutely. Yeah. But has he absolutely shown it? No. Because I still have questions about how many minutes he can play.
Well, yeah, and that's a big thing that we keep getting the text of, why isn't Clingan playing more minutes? Well, every time he gets ramped up, he gets hurt again. Well, that's a big part of it, though. Like,
I don't necessarily think it's that, because I think it's been unfortunate with an MCL and an ankle, of which in 2 years of college basketball he didn't have those.
Sure, yeah.
I think the bigger issue is that physically he's just not capable of playing those minutes. And the example that I go back to, and they're like, how does somebody do this and come to the NBA and not be able to play X amount of minutes? It's like pretty easy. He's 7'3", 290 pounds. And I had somebody on the text line yesterday said, so is Shaq. And it's like, okay, if you want to talk about the most physically dominant human being in the history of the NBA as your marker for what somebody should or shouldn't be able to do, go with God. But he's one of 1 billion.
Yeah.
Like that's you're not gonna see that ever again. Shaq was playing at 430 pounds. He's talked about it publicly and about how big he actually was. You can say, well, the league was playing slower. No, that dude is just different. Zach Edey didn't come out in the draft the year before because he went to the combine and they said, you can't run.
Can't run. And what did he do in the combine this past year that everybody said, oh, okay.
He spent an entire year getting his body right in college, and Purdue ran the entire offense through him. He anchored the defense. Like, he got his body in shape. And guess what? He's 2 years older than Donovan Clingan.
Yeah.
Like, am I surprised that a 7'3", 290-pound kid is not in NBA shape at 20 and 21 years old? No, not at all. The idea that these guys, like, there's probably 2 or 3 guys every single year who come into the NBA draft who are physically ready. Like, in every way, shape, matter, or form. They have the strength, they have the coordination, they have the balance, their diet is right, they work out the right way, and they're not always at the top of the draft. Like, that's where you see like a second round. Tumani is a perfect example of like, no, but also he's a 4-year college guy. Like, there's an understanding. Like, I'll never forget this because it was funny as hell what happened. There's Sear Little, who was a very bursty, strong, athletic, built dude. Flat out said, I ate like crap. He's like, I was eating Chipotle like twice a day, eating chips and candy. It's like,
not great, Bob.
But when he sat down with a nutritionist and actually understood like what he was doing as opposed to what he should be doing, it was drastically different. Anthony Simon's like, it
takes time to be a pro.
It takes time to be a pro.
Yeah.
They're kids, man. So, but coming back to the whole idea of like what they could do that would negatively impact them, so to speak, in the beginning, but help them on the back end. It's getting more young talent or assets to allow them to go acquire young talent like a Denny Avdia.
See, this is where I think the discussion needs to be had here in Portland because, look, everybody's like, make a move. Well, what does that move look like? Because the move will have to look something like, it doesn't help Portland win games right now, but in the future it will.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the immediacy, you don't want to be winning
and
a high volume of games. And
I don't think
that's a fact.
They're chasing wins. And I know people are like, well, they've been winning. It's like, yeah, but they're not chasing wins for the sake of like getting in the play-in. If they go out there and Scoot plays 25 minutes, Shaden plays 32 minutes, Denny plays 32 minutes, 2 plays 32 minutes, Donovan can play 15 to 18 minutes, like, and they win, they're okay with that. Now, is that the right way to go about it? I don't know. I push back and forth on it, but if that's let's say they shut down the veterans, they shut down and or trade Ant, Jeremy, not DA because he won't be really a part of that, I don't think, but one of DA or Rob, and Tease hasn't played, and it is what it is, but. And the kids are playing all the minutes and they win games, are people going to be mad? Probably.
Yes, they will be, because this is one of the framing things that the Blazers organization is sending those mixed signals, right? Like, this was a year where it was like expectations not going to be high, tempering every expectation, especially after. And they were open about this aspect of it with the expectations that came in surrounding Scoot Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was far too high, kind of our bad.
Organizationally, we probably
Hand
put
up.
too much on him. Yep.
Hand up. Our bad on that one. We are going to lower the bar. And so fans came into this season saying, okay, well, we're lowering our bar too. And now they're not reaching that bar. They're actually over the bar.
Get under the bar.
And fans are like, no. Our bar has been lowered. And that bar is also the ceiling. We do not want to reach the ceiling.
Coming into the season, they organizationally they said it. We're not going to measure this season with wins and losses.
Wins and losses. Yeah,
that was the line. We're not going to measure with wins and losses. It's about growth.
But to your point, if those young guys are growing, then organizationally they have reached what they set out for the season.
Even if you end up winning a couple extra games along the way.
But with this draft, that is a big issue.
Yeah.
Because
it's not last year's
good
draft.
It is at the top.
Last year's draft, you could do that because everybody knew what it was. And look, it's turned out exactly like everyone thought, like exactly like everyone thought.
Yeah,
bunch of good guys.
Yeah,
but this draft, Dylan and Cooper and Dylan are special, and there's people that believe in Ace Bailey and Kasparas Giakousionis. Like, I think there's 4 or 5 guys in this draft now. There's 2 guys with all NBA potential. Like, 3 if you put Ace in that. And then there's probably some guys that have some real all-star level potential.
So to get your to get the framing for people that are out there, it would be you send a vet out and you get a guy like an Anthony Black from Orlando, like a Jet Howard from Orlando, a Jabari Smith Jr. from Houston, and in the immediacy, nope, doesn't really help you win games now, but in the future, you're projecting on the long term and that ramp up. And assets is an interesting one, and I want to get to that next because you mentioned something that really hasn't been a trigger for a lot of Blazer fans in getting assets and what those could look like as well. Here's Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on The Fan, the Blazers, winners of 5 of their last 6. They continue their homestand tonight with the Orlando Magic in town. 7 o'clock tip on K2, 2.2 on your antenna, Xfinity Channel 302. Matisse Thybulle is out, Jeremy Grant questionable. The Blazers are 5.5-point underdogs. Got a doubleheader on TNT this evening. First tipping at 4 o'clock. It's the Hawks at the Cavaliers. That's followed at 6:30 by the numbers 2 and 3 teams in the West, the Rockets at the Grizzlies. In college ball, number 16 Oregon men's hoops in Los Angeles to face UCLA tonight at Pauley Pavilion, 7:30 tip. Coverage right here on the Fan starts at 7 o'clock immediately following primetime. The Ducks are 4.5-point underdogs. And the Portland Pilots also in LA to face the Lions of Loyola Marymount. Tip at 7 o'clock. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. Round 1 of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am at Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill. And kind of a bit of a logjam up at the top of the leaderboard. You've got Jake Knapp, Cam Davis, and Austin Eckroat all tied at 6 under par. One stroke behind them are Akshay Bhatia, Eric Van Rooyen, Justin Thomas, Lee Hodges, and Russell Henley. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 1080 The Fan.
All right, it's 503-864-6326. That's the Vancouver Ford text line. We were talking about what would a trade look like a week from today when the trade deadline does expire, or between now and then, for the Portland Trailblazers. Everybody's saying, make a move, make a move, make a move. Well, what the hell does that look like? Because you don't want it to make you exponentially better right now.
Yeah.
You want to make it better in the future. And you brought up a few young prospects that have upside and could be on organizations in Orlando and Houston with Anthony Black and Jabari Smith Jr. that those are in win now mode. Both those organizations are. And Portland does have assets that could be attractive to them.
And Ime Udoka would murder somebody to get Rob Williams back.
You're damn right he would. He loved
that
Time Lord.
The reason Rob Williams III would end up in Houston is because Ime Udoka goes to their front office and Rafa Stone and just noogies him to death until they trade for Rob Williams. He loves Rob. Unabashedly, uncontrollably, like that is his dude. That is who he rocks with. And Rob's from near Shreveport, Oil City, Louisiana, which is like a 2-hour drive from Houston.
And I don't know if you knew this, Ime Udoka from Portland. Did you know that?
Yep.
Did you know that?
Indeed.
Do you know that he was from Portland? Read that.
Somewhere around
He was
there.
in the Oregonian. But you mentioned, assets too, which is something that we haven't really talked about, draft assets moving forward, and what those could look like. Because here's a rundown of what Portland has going in and going out, right? Thanks to that fantastic Dennis Smith Jr. trade, the Blazers' 2025 first-round pick could go to the Chicago Bulls if the Blazers land outside. It's the Larry Nance, Dennis Smith Jr. trade. If it lands outside of the top 14, the pick does still go to Chicago. Don't think we have to worry about that, though.
Nope.
We don't have to worry about that. So that could be a potential outgoing. The Blazers' second-round pick is outgoing this year, but there is a chance that a second-round pick does come inbound from Atlanta. But of picks that matter and of consequence, I'll let you describe what all of the second-round picks that the Blazers have acquired means now.
It's a weird roundabout way that things are being routed through. It's a lot of least favorable, most favorable, landing in certain protection zones. They have some seconds that they can work with, but it's a tighter needle to thread. They don't own their own outright until 2031.
Okay.
So that's
but they do have a lot coming in from various places.
But knowing where they are and where they're gonna be, you're not gonna know that until the end of the season.
Yeah. So because of that Larry Nance Jr. Dennis Smith trade, the Blazers are unable to trade first round picks until
they can
2028.
They can do it, but it's after the lottery and on draft night because the step-in rule and stuff that goes along with it.
It's
blah, blah.
all very dumb.
Yes.
So here's the rundown of what Blazers have, though.
Mhm.
All right. You have a 2028 first-round pick coming from Milwaukee.
Mhm.
You have 2029 first-round picks from Boston and or Milwaukee.
They have the most and least favorable in that. The second pick in that goes to Washington for the Denny deal.
Okay. Then you have a 2030
swap
pick swap with the Milwaukee Bucks, and then there
should be one more
there
swap
2031 in there.
Yeah,
Or there a first round swap?
There should be another swap in there. Yeah, there should be a Milwaukee swap. 2029.
No, 2029 is the Boston and or Milwaukee.
Okay. Yeah, there's two swaps in there. I just can't remember where the other one.
2020. No. 2028's coming in from Milwaukee. 2029 is the most favorable. 2030 is the pick swap. So that's what the Blazers have. Now, if you want to sit there and there's a host of second round picks that are coming in.
Yeah.
But that's just currency, right?
They're in a okay place picks wise. Like they've been able to build their war chest back up.
And that's all of their picks are still included in all.
They all, with the exception of the protected one that's owed to Chicago because of that Larry Nance deal. Ugh.
Still just a
7-year protection, for the love of God. I guess the good news is at least the freaking protected it, because they would have had to have owned a non-protected pick that would have been in the lottery.
Yeah.
So despite throwing away picks like candy for both Rob Covington and Larry Nance Jr., they've been able to build that asset chest back up. And just talking to folks, it does sound like the Blazers while they prioritize player over capital. Like they would much rather have the one in hand versus two in the bush kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think that's a sensible way to go about it if it's the player that you're targeting, right? They're also flagging out there that they are open to dealing for draft capital that is actually viable and valuable.
Okay.
Like the thing that I've been told from multiple people involved in the transaction for Denny, the thing that the shiny, my precious in there was that not the 14th pick in the draft last year. That wasn't that important to them. I mean, it was, but it's not. They wanted that second most valuable in 2029. That was the thing that they valued.
Okay.
And those are the kind of things where
Scouting those fourth graders.
Well, you're not wrong, but it's just having the runway for those things. But for the Blazers, while they're interested in draft capital, they're interested in capital that they can use and go get another Denny with, go get another player with. Like that's the kind of thing that they're thinking about. Like it's not about having another lottery ticket. It's about having some additional ammunition because they did expend some to go get Denny.
Yeah.
But as I just looked, since November 20th, and I've just picked a random day, basically a month into the season, because that's how long it really took Denny to kind of get settled in. As a starter, Denny Avdia, real quick, is averaging 19 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals. He is shooting 50, 34, 77.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Again, 19, 8, and 4.
Mm.
That's really good.
Yep.
That's really,
Not
really
great.
good. And so the whole idea of like, oh my God, they overpaid for him. They have a 24-year-old who can dribble, pass, shoot, and defend, who's giving you 19, 8, and 4 at 6'9", is 24 years old and has maybe the best non-rookie scale contract in the NBA outside of a superstar like Jalen Brunson.
Hot damn.
So the idea of like what they would want to go get or use that capital for, you kind of start understanding the things they would target.
Yeah. But to go out and get and start acquiring draft assets in this year, although they would be kind of further down the road in acquiring some of the other teams, this is where you could see you start building that war chest very similar to what Utah has done, what Oklahoma City has done, where I think it was Oklahoma City could potentially have 5 first-round picks next year.
And the difference there being that Oklahoma City offloaded a superstar Hall of Famer in his prime in Paul George, and then a very good player still in Russell Westbrook in 2019. But also, and then in Oklahoma City, they dumped the Defensive Player of the Year and a first ballot Hall of Famer, Rudy Gobert, and a multi-time All-Star in his prime and Donovan Mitchell on Cleveland. That's how you get war chests.
And it should be noted that sometimes you make these deals and they're not going to be great picks at this point, right?
No,
like,
I mean those
they're at
Cleveland picks might not be that great, which is why Danny Ainge makes the deal with the Phoenix Suns for a 2031 unprotected singular pick, but gives up the least value of over 3 years, 3 straight years of picks, 3 firsts that they send to Phoenix for 1, because it's the least valuable of Utah, Cleveland, and Minnesota. And they are leveraging that one of Cleveland or Minnesota will be good enough to make that like the 20th pick in the draft, which sure, it's nice to have them, but 2031 unprotected, when you look at the Suns' assets and how little they have, that thing's, you're sitting there going, ooh, I like that.
And this is where, like, that or a trade partner like Orlando, if you get one of those players back, they will have Denver's first-round pick this year.
Yes, and that's
right?
That's a pick where, is it that valuable? Probably not.
It's in the 20s, but
would you
add
take
it to your war chest?
Look, if I don't think they would move it. Let's say one deal that I thought that could possibly work was Anthony Simons, again, with just using the contract, $25 million. Jonathan Isaac makes almost exactly the same, but he has a bunch of outs in his deal. But you swap Simons for Isaac, and that Nuggets first. Is it the best possible deal? No, but it also, Jonathan Isaac is exactly the kind of player the Blazers have kind of profiled. He's 7 foot tall. When he's on the floor, he's one of the most disruptive players in the league. Injury prone. That's why there's all those outs in his contract, but he's under contract for 4 more years with a bunch of outs. What have the Blazers prioritized? Players under contract, players that are defensively minded, athletic. Like it's all the kind of markers that you look at. But if you could also be like, hey, look, instead of taking one of your young players like Black or Jet, we'll take that first. Is it the best possible pick? No. But is it something that maybe come draft day, you use and bundle it up with something else and go get somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the important factor here, though, is that in everything that we're talking about, it really doesn't mean anything unless the Blazers are in the top end of the lottery. Because gaining assets, gaining role players, you have to land. That's like the big gamble that Utah's making right now.
Yeah.
Is that we're going to get one of those guys, and then when we have all those assets, we can go out and we can move those picks for vets. And it's the gamble that paid off for Oklahoma City in a massive way, and will probably continue to pay off because they built that war chest up. But it has to not help them in the immediacy and help them in the long run.
And on that line, for everybody that wants to talk about how great OKC is, everybody forgets, like, oh, they drafted Jalen Williams. They expended draft capital to move up ahead of Jalen Williams and go grab Ousmane Dieng, who might not be an NBA player.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for everybody who always wants to remember the hits, nobody ever wants to remember the misses. That's like, plenty of teams get stuff wrong, guys. This draft stuff is not an exact science.
All right. One man is a far bigger man than me. What would you do, Danny and Dusty on the Fan? What would you do if in the mail a beautiful green envelope with the Masters logo showed up, addressed to you, and cordially invited you to play in the Masters tournament?
Sounds like I'm going to Augusta.
Yeah. Well, that happened to a man named Scott Stallings, who lives, I believe, in Knoxville, Tennessee. And this came to him,
It's a
and
short drive.
It invited him to play in the Masters, and his family as well, his wife Jennifer. And he was stunned. And he is an amateur golfer. He's a guy that and by amateur, I mean a guy like you and me who just duffs it around the course locally. And he was like, yeah, I don't think that this is for me. So what he ended up doing is he ended up going to the Google machine, and Google brought up, hey, there's a professional golfer named Scott Stallings.
They got the wrong one, huh?
Yeah. And he is also from the same area, or I guess he lives in Georgia, not Knoxville. Also from Georgia, and has a wife named Jennifer.
Oh.
So rando Scott Stallings DMs the real Scott Stallings, who this was intended for, and says, hi, Scott. My name is Scott Stallings. And, well, I'm from Georgia. My wife's name is Jennifer, too. Her IG is, and he put that in there. Don't know why he added that. We have a condo at address, and I received a FedEx today from the Masters inviting me to play in the Masters tournament, April 6th to the 9th in 2020. Oh, this is from 2023. I'm 100% sure this is not for me. I play, but wow, nowhere near your level. It's a very nice package, complete with everything I needed to attend. I think that we have some confusion because of our names, our wife's names, and geographical location. I can be reached at phone number, and am more than happy to send you this package. And then he added a photo and said, no, I'm not kidding, man. Like, this is actually, and sent photos of
Like
the invite.
I feel like you got to just tin cup it and just show up.
Dude, I am not kidding. That's Scott Stallings. I saw that today on the internet, and I was like, dude, bigger man than me. I would have drug my broke ass out to Augusta, Georgia, and I would have shot 190 twice. I would have been, they would have asked me to leave after the first out. I said, no, you invited me. You're getting the whole experience. And I would have played in that tournament. How could you? If I'm the non-famous Scott Stallings, how are you not going down that route?
No, God, no. When opportunity knocks, you open that door, baby.
Yeah,
you don't close that door.
Because it's like, if they're like, you're not the guy we thought we. It's like, too bad you sent it to me. I'm playing. I'm going. I'm going to be out there on the range just yucking it up with everybody else and be like, who's this guy? Be like, I don't know. This is my buddy. He's going to be my caddy. I'd be Happy Gilmore out there.
Yes.
My
100%.
caddy would have one shoe on. He'd be all disheveled. You know who I would take? I would take Jeff Rust. I would, Rust, you would be my caddy, and I would put you in that white suit, and I would say, give me the biggest handlebars you can grow. Shave that dome up.
You didn't get to go to Army Navy, but you get to go to Augusta.
You're going to Augusta,
I'll
man.
take that.
Yeah.
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to be on a par 5, and I'm going to tee off. I'm going to be like, Russ, every time on a par 5, you got to yell, get in the hole. All right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You make sure you have enough balls, buddy. We're going to need them here. Russ, part of your job is clearing out the gallery because I don't know where this is going to go.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Y'all might want to back up a bit.
Nope. You're going to widen this thing out.
Give yourself about 30 more yards there.
Oh, Nelly.
We got a shankopotamus up
How
here.
great would that be? Yeah, I have a heckler, and it's my caddy rolling around in his white jumpsuit.
Be fantastic.
Us just yelling at each other on the 8th green. We're on CBS. They're like, great read, Russ.
Yeah. Be guaranteed to make the Sports Center not top 10.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Or some bad beats.
Oh, my gosh. That would have been electric to just see a rando out there.
I love it.
I bet you and people say like, oh no, I could shoot. No, I bet you I'd shoot 190 out there.
Oh, that course would eat us alive.
From the tips, with the greens the way that they are, I'd shoot.
How many times would you putt off the green?
Yes. All of them. I'm like 50 out. I'm like, Russ, hand me the putter. We're gonna Texas wedge this thing up here. I don't think I can hold it. What if you get paired with Tiger?
I feel like Tiger would be the one, while recognizing the Trav Sham mockery, might have some fun with it.
But
Because
it's go time for him, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
You know?
I feel like there would be significantly worse people to be paired with.
Yeah.
Who would just all the time.
Yeah.
Where Tiger might just kill you, like not in a bad way, but just endlessly ridicule and make fun of you. Like
it'd make me never want to play golf again.
Yes, I mean,
yeah.
The clip that I have in my head is the when he has the long drive competition with those guys, and he gets down on his knees, and the guy, to be clear, the guy he's up against, he pipes one.
He did.
He hit it probably like 305, like it'd be nice solid drive.
Yeah.
And then Tiger went down to his knees and hit it like 330.
Yeah. I mean, it's really far. I don't think Tiger could hit it standing up 330.
Yeah.
But he piped that.
He absolutely crushed it.
He saw that guy's drive and they were like, ooh, nice. And he's like, yeah, that was a good drive. From my knees. Wow. That'd be great.
Disgusting.
Yeah. I would love every minute of that.
Yeah.
And I just be like, what do you want from me? Like, what do you want from me?
You guys invited me.
Yeah. I'm playing from the tips here, guys. I usually will play combo tees. We just step up to the first tee box. They announce your name. You're like, we're playing combos today. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'll play his drive.
Best ball in this, right?
Like, sir, you can't do that. I'll just take a drop. Trust me. For the betterment of this gallery, I'll take a drop up there. Just don't worry about it.
Is there a limit on balls you can bring to Augusta?
I think there are. Yeah, on the tour. Yeah, I think there is a limit. I'd use it. They're like, sir, you can't finish your round. Saw this coming. We're going to rename Ray's Creek Dusty's Creek because I'm living in it. All right. Hour number 1 in the books. Let's get to hour number 2. A messy story coming out. Allegations against Justin Tucker. He has released a statement, as have the Baltimore Ravens in the National Football League. Massage therapists accusing Justin Tucker of being pretty scummy. And we'll give you the details next. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers, winners of 5 of their last 6. They continue their homestand tonight with the Magic in town. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2 on your antenna, Xfinity Channel 302. Matisse Thybulle is out. Jeremy Grant questionable with ankle soreness. The Blazers are 5.5-point dogs. A NBA doubleheader on TNT this evening. First tipping at 4 o'clock, the Hawks at the Cavaliers, followed at 6:30 by the numbers 2 and 3 teams in the West, the Rockets at the Grizzlies. Number 16, Oregon men's hoops in Los Angeles to face UCLA tonight at Pauley Pavilion, 7:30 tip. Coverage right here on The Fan starts at 7 o'clock immediately following primetime. The Ducks are 4.5-point dogs. And the Portland Pilots also in LA to face the Lions of Loyola Marymount. That tip at 7 o'clock. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. The Pilots are 12-point dogs. And round 1 of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am at Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill. Up at the top of the leaderboard, Cam Davis now all alone. He is 8 under through 15 holes. 1 stroke back is Jake Knapp, and then Justin Rose and Russell Henley tied for 3rd. 2 back at 6 under par. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Mash the subscribe button and like us for live streaming video and 1080 The Fan on demand. This is Danny and Dusty.
What in God's name is going on in here? What was that ruckus?
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
What ruckus? I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app.
Did you describe the ruckus, sir?
And 1080.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Thursday afternoon. Some very serious allegations coming out regarding Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker today. Just a heads up, what we are about to talk about it's very sexual in nature, as Justin Tucker of the Baltimore Ravens has been alleged to have several instances of inappropriate contact with massage therapists. This according to the Baltimore Banner news publication. They had a piece out today. It's quite long, by Julie Sharper, Brenna Smith, and Justin Fenton. And boy, it goes into quite a bit regarding the Baltimore Ravens kicker. On the surface here, 6 different massage therapists from several different spas say that he was inappropriate with them between the years 2012 and 2016. Quite a long time ago. The report alleges that Tucker was banned from 2 different spas in the Baltimore area because of his inappropriate contact with therapists. There are several instances of him and by the way, he's banned from 2 different spas according to this report. This is several different spas, 6 different therapists who none of them had contact with each other until they were kind of brought together by the Baltimore Banner. None of them knew that any of this had happened to anybody else, okay? On several instances, he asked therapists to massage his pelvis and inner thigh while he had an erection.
Mm-hmm. This all sounds vaguely familiar.
He would continually wiggle the sheets completely off of his body to show his genitals and erections, according to and alleged by these massage therapists. It's pretty bad because several different massage therapists at different locations
that do not know each other
allege that what a therapist believed to be ejaculate was left on the massage table after their sessions were over. And that comes from 3 different therapists that did not know each other.
Yeah. And this, if this sounds familiar, this is the same kind of thing that came out with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
It was 3, then it was 6, then it was 10, then it was 12. What did the final count get up to? 26?
Something like that.
25 or 26.
Yeah.
In these cases, in this, we've seen this with not just these guys, but in these instances, it's never just one.
No, and look, again, all of this is alleged, and what they kind of put out there is, I mean, he would, with massage therapists, and we heard about this with the Deshaun Watson stuff, right? Is like there is times where there's incidental contact. There are times where, in this, the massage therapists are saying like, look, sometimes erections happen with guys when they're getting a massage. They can't really control it. It happens.
You start massaging around stuff, and it can happen.
But what was different here is they're alleging he would pull the sheets off and be like, rub my inner thigh now.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's inappropriate. That is different. That's not accidental.
No.
And there's different ways that massage therapists are trained and taught to. If that happens, you get them to move in a different way. And he was like, no, not doing that. His lawyers are saying this is a non-story. They claim that constant shifting around was due to him being an athlete and uncomfortable with the work being done. And look, he's a kicker. He's going to have his legs massaged. Like that is not
a lot.
A lot. But the therapists are saying, no, we know what movements are normal, not normal. This is not normal.
Look, not to make light of the situation, but I think we're all married. We all have wives. We've all done the towel dance.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Sure.
But there's a difference between I'm adjusting the table versus doing the towel dance.
Lawyers say it could have been a variety of things left on that table, not ejaculate. They could have been water or oil, and all of the massage therapists are like, yeah, no, we know what it looks like. Yeah. In that one, we know exactly what's left on that table.
It's the same obfuscation that you saw with the Deshaun Watson stuff. It was deny, attack, and that's what's going to happen. And the thing about this is, and again, it's all alleged, but I think even more damning than this report is, and this is going to sound so insane, but there's been multiple tweets uncovered by just random people in Baltimore talking about this stuff over the years.
Yeah, his lawyers are saying he has never been banned from a massage place.
Yeah, what's the massage place saying?
The two of them said, yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he definitely was. One of them is not even in business anymore, so they're not even protecting their business. They're like, no, we banned him, and he knew that. But his lawyers are saying that's not the case. But you're talking about tweets from January 16th, 2021, at Finker Stinker on Twitter. Justin Tucker must not have received his happy ending before he forced the masseuse to give him this week, probably because he's banned from every spa in Baltimore.
Again, that's 2016.
No, that's 2021.
Okay, 2021. There's one from 2016.
Another one
is
from November 29th of 2021 that I've got from MC's Burner. Justin Tucker is canceled, but it's not my place to provide the reason. Let's just say he's been told by many massage places to never come back. The NFL and the Baltimore Ravens are saying, yeah, this is the first we're hearing of it, and we're going to investigate this. But when you read the article, there is a level of belief that they do believe it, because a lot of the massage therapists were like, yeah, we didn't know that there were other women. And of the 6 that are quoted in this article, 5 of them, after learning that there were other women, because these were at multiple spas, by the way, they all said, yeah, we're now going to lawyer up. 5 of the 6 have gotten lawyers in this, because they were like, we just thought it was like a one-off. Maybe he was just being creepy. There's one story in here where like there was a veteran masseuse who, she was like, I'll do this. I think I can control this situation here. Walked in, said, your wife's one of my clients. And then she even said like he was wildly inappropriate. Even after saying like your wife is one of my clients, she thought that would be enough to not make him be creepy, right?
Yeah.
And she's alleging, no, didn't really do much at all. It should be noted, all of these are alleged. And you mentioned the Deshaun Watson. The Deshaun Watson stuff was like he was.
It was worse.
He was sexually assaulting people like to the nth degree, right? In those allegations. This it does not make what Justin Tucker is doing
it's
anywhere close to it. He is being wildly inappropriate, and like they're saying that, legal experts are already chiming in on this, saying, look, some of the statutes may be gone because it wouldn't qualify as sexual assault per se. A lot of these allegations, and the ones that would be very hard to prove in any of this.
Won't stop a civil case.
It will not stop a civil case one bit.
No.
And
the NFL does not need to have a legal precedent to do something about this.
I mean, you think about just like when all of these things start coming out and you're going, oh my goodness. This was 2012 through 2016. And like everything that Justin Tucker had been like portrayed as publicly was like the stand-up guy of the Baltimore community too, right? And you start hearing all these things, and you're seeing quotes from these masseuses in the article saying, yeah, I'm disgusted by it, and I have been for years, and I've just been sitting quiet on this thing.
He was the cross-cultural icon because Baltimore has a well-known, cultural ties to it, both in the white and black communities. And he was notoriously the guy that was welcome at the cookout.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, it was a thing, that kind of, they made a not a joke of it, but like, they were like, yeah, no, like he's one of us regardless, because he's been a piece that has kind of connected the team to the city, kind of a deal, because he's been through multiple eras of the team and has been around for so long. Like, he's a jersey that people wear. He's a kicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, if this indeed ends up being true, it's like, yikes,
dude,
dog.
It is disturbing when you hear like this is how people act, because I think that it's, for majority of people out there, you're sitting there going, oh boy, like I would never, these are the places I would never go. And this is why the masseuses are sitting there going, massage therapists are going, look, we know what is accidental and what is done intentionally. And this was all done intentionally is what they're alleging in this. It's gross, dude.
100%.
And I don't know how long this is going to take for the Ravens, for the NFL, and for the legal process to bear out.
Imagine imagine they went to the Super Bowl. Where in this drop right now,
right?
It makes you wonder if the article was almost timed for that.
But there's like John Harbaugh also. He had probably one of the most firm stances on this, where when the Deshaun Watson stuff was coming out, he's like, we would have zero tolerance for this to happen in our organization. Zero.
Mm-hmm. And now you got an opportunity to stand by that.
We are going to see kind of where they sit. Justin Tucker does have a statement out, though.
And it's long.
It is really long. And he kind of, I mean, he's going full court. Nope, didn't do it. His lawyers already have.
Yeah.
And he's alleging that, like, when I found out about these allegations, I said, well, what are the allegations that you're going to write this article on? And they wouldn't tell me. The newspaper wouldn't tell me. And so he had to hire a defamation attorney, and they finally wrote a letter to the newspaper and were like, hey, look, you need to give us what you guys are writing or we're going to sue you. Probably still going to sue, because if Justin Tucker is going with his full-throated defense of,
the damage is done regardless.
Yeah, of, hey, I didn't do any of this. Well, then sue him for defamation then. And say, no, I didn't do that. Because if none of this is true, as Justin Tucker is saying, then guess what? That is textbook defamation of character, right?
Not a good place to be.
And he's going full court against it. And it should be noted, though, this is kind of where it's different from the Deshaun Watson thing. Is there's several, and they put this in the article, that there's several massage therapists that they reached out to that said, no, he was nothing but great, upstanding, blah, blah, blah. We'll see kind of if more people start coming forward and where this all goes. But I
remember
sounds
the one
horrific.
The one caveat we have to put on this is, remember the Matt Araiza situation.
The what?
Matt Araiza. the punter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who-
The punter for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes,
Yeah,
who was falsely accused of
in that
sexual misconduct, and all of it ultimately was dropped. He wasn't even there.
he wasn't even there when it happened. Yeah.
Doesn't make him a good guy, but it makes him completely innocent in that.
Yes, and there's.
But
gonna,
he was, remember, that was at the peak of everything, and he was punished and lambasted and cast aside, and dude wasn't even there.
Nope.
It's it's disgusting, but you get those cases. You get the Duke lacrosse case, which she has come out just
and
a
said
month
she
ago and
lied.
said every last bit of it was a fabrication.
And look, there is, and this is why these are so difficult, is because there is that fine line, respecting the accusers and what they have been through, or victims and what they have been through, but also saying we've heard one side of a story through a news article, and there's a legal process that will be sorting all of this out, and it sounds awful.
And the thing is it sounds damning.
And it seems like when you have 6 different people who have no idea who each other are, and they have eerily similar stories to one another, yeah, that raises a lot of alarms here for Justin Tucker and the Baltimore Ravens and the National Football League, which both the Ravens and the NFL are saying, yeah, we had no idea, but apparently some fans on Twitter did.
Yeah, I don't believe neither the NFL nor the Ravens were aware of this.
Yeah.
They employ far too in-depth of a security team to not know.
All right. 503-864-6326. That's a Vancouver Ford text line. This is Danny Dusty on The Fan. Hey, right now it is time to enter the Slam Dunk in Vegas contest. Entering is easy. Download the Odyssey app. That's free 99 for you out there. $0. Log in and listen to 1080 The Fan on the app or any of the participating stations. Listen each day for a minimum of 1 hour, and that is your daily entry. Minimum 1 hour. Winner of this national contest will receive travel and accommodations for 4. That's you and 3 of your bros or broettes to Las Vegas, Nevada, plus $20,000 in spending money. That's $5,000 for each of you. Or, I mean, that could be, $19,997 to you, and you give each of them $1, and you say, hey, welcome aboard. But whatever it is, it'll
spend it all
fund
in one place.
the ultimate viewing experience for the first 2 rounds of the college basketball championships. Come back each day and listen for another chance to win. Keep listening for more info at 1080thefan.com. Slam Dunk in Vegas contest. That sounds like a sweet deal, dude.
I mean, yeah, as far as contests go, that's not many that can beat that.
No,
That's
it's
not
free to enter. I mean, if you're going to listen to the fan, just
do it anyway.
do it on the app, huh?
I mean, I'm not even gassing up the company. Like, when I first read the copy for it, I was like,
It seems good.
Can we do this?
No, we can't.
Oh.
No, you can't. I mean, I don't even know if we could be taken on that trip as one of the plus ones. Like, you could invite Rust, Danny, and I if you win. I don't even know if we could do it though.
I mean, I'd go.
Danny quit his job and just be like, yeah, it's good.
Well, no, I would just be out those days.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, you are missing the point here. I don't think that they would allow you to be employed and take that trip.
Oh,
But everybody else, have a damn good time doing it.
because it's during the madness, isn't it?
If anybody from here wins that contest, I need pictures. I need you to send photos.
Can't take proof of pictures in Vegas of things that happen in Vegas.
It's like The Hangover. Just give me just highlights, just rando pictures. Just send them to me on Twitter. We'll document, or Instagram. We'll document the entire thing. Heck, you can send them to me on Facebook. I don't think I have Snapchat. That's up in the air. I have Threads. I have, what's that one called?
The Blue Ski?
Yeah.
Blue Sky. Yeah.
Yes, I know it's Blue Sky.
Yeah.
I've never been on that.
I just started
Got
an
it.
account, and I don't think I've done anything with it.
TikTok. I found that out. I didn't know I had it. Found that out, though. Got it. I got all these social medias. That's why I don't know if I have Snapchat or not.
somebody
I'm
was-
literally
People were
totally
selling
confused if I have it or not.
TikTok-enabled phones because they were like TikTok was downloaded overseas for that like one-day ban
Oh, yeah.
on eBay for like $10,000.
Get out of town.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Who wait, somebody just bought TikTok, didn't they? Or is in the process
I think
of buying
it's
TikTok?
an American company or American owner.
Well, I remember going, that's a pretty big company. I want to say, oh boy. Yeah, I have no idea who's buying it. Microsoft. Microsoft is apparently going to buy TikTok. Yeah.
Xbox Live going to integrate with TikTok now? All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It operates like Windows 11.
Okay. That's a deep cut for everybody not knowing Dusty's laptop has been blown up by Windows 11.
That's the new Windows, apparently.
Yeah. And you've had such
It
great
feels-
luck with it.
But it feels like we should be, like, we have, 16 iPhones now?
Yeah.
It feels like we should be way beyond Windows 11, though.
Yeah, and we were stuck on
Right?
the Windows 95 for like ever.
I know.
Windows 95 was like, I want to say that it was like viable until like 2006.
Feels like we should be beyond that.
Yeah.
It's not good, Bob.
No, that's
right.
what happens.
Okay.
All right, coming up next time for our worst day on the web. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new thing to add to the list of the dumbest things ever stolen. But first, here's a big Guna Sports Center update.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. Check out Super Butcher Shop specials for the big game, like bacon-wrapped jalapenos, smoked ribs, and more at laurelhurstmarket.com. First on the Fan, the Blazers have won 5 of their last 6. The homestand continues tonight with the Orlando Magic in town. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2 on your antenna, and Xfinity Channel 302. Matisse Thybulle is out. Jeremy Grant questionable with ankle soreness. The Blazers are 5.5-point underdogs. An NBA doubleheader on TNT this evening, tipping at 4 o'clock. It's the Hawks at the Cavaliers. That's followed at 6:30 by the number 2 and 3 teams in the West. That's the Rockets at the Grizzlies. In college ball, number 16 Oregon men's basketball in LA to face UCLA tonight at Pauley Pavilion, 7:30 tip. Coverage here on the Fan starts at 7. Immediately following primetime, the Ducks are 4.5-point dogs, and the Portland Pilots also in LA to face the Lions of Loyola Marymount. That tip is at 7. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. The Pilots are 12-point dogs. Round 1 of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am at Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill. And at the top of the leaderboard, Cam Davis is 8 under through 16 holes. He is 1 stroke clear of Jake Knapp and Russell Henry. Justin Rose all alone in 4th place, 2 strokes off the pace at 6 under par. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
I love stupid thief stories. They're one of my favorites.
Ooh.
Bad heist movies.
Yeah. Wait, there are bad heist movies?
No,
What's the
it's-
worst heist movie?
Fast and Furious.
Boy, that's going to be controversial. There's like 800 of them.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like,
Which one? The original?
the original.
You think the original is? I thought the original was okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Jordana Brewster. Shouts to you.
Maybe too fast because that one doesn't have the old Vin Diesel in it.
I'll say Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift is not great either.
They don't steal anything, though, do they?
My time.
And plus, they put that one all out of order chronologically in it too.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. But like the first one is like they're stealing like DVDs out of semi trucks, and the semi truck drivers have they're taking the law into their own hands.
Yeah, dude.
And then by number 9, they're going to space.
Well, I mean, which that's when it gets fun.
See what I'm talking about?
Like that's a good heist movie. Stealing stuff in space, yeah.
Family.
Family.
We steal the moon.
Oh, trust me, those movies are all guilty pleasures at the Rest House.
Look, I'm not saying they're like not fun to watch, but like I went back and watched that. Who's the Vince, the guy with the mesh shirt?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that dude. That's the reason I'm just like the harpoon gun.
Yeah.
And it's like they're grabbing a hold of it like a Honda Civic that weighs 1,200 pounds. This truck that's hauling like 6 pallets. That's the other funny thing. It's like 6 pallets of DVDs. What does that weigh? 40 pounds?
Maybe. I don't know. You don't know what those on those DVDs. The greatest stuff ever.
Oh, probably. But also the funny part is like if you try doing that now, all these truckers are like 400 pounds and driving naked. It's terrifying. They don't need to carry guns. You try to get in the cab with them. It's
400 pounds and driving naked.
Have you not seen like the there's like a people of Walmart. There's
Our algorithm wildly different.
Truckers of truck stops.
Oh boy.
Like these massives of humanity that get out of the driver's seat.
No.
Just I can only imagine that smell.
No, I'm out.
That cab must smell like cabbage.
I'm out. Nope.
What if it smelled like butter? Because that's what was stolen from this is Ontario, Canada. The Peel region, $60,000 worth of butter.
Oh, man. Okay. I am really... Everybody says, Canadians, they are so nice. I think their criminals are actually nice, too. Because we've talked about this before. If you've ever watched the series on Netflix, Heist, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah.
Again, not good at these things. Watched an entire movie. Had no idea what the name of the movie was. I was way off. So I think it's called Heist. But like one of them is the Pappy Van Winkle.
Which again, not a dumb thing to steal.
Yeah. There's another installment of that on that same series, Heist, about a maple syrup heist in Canada.
Which unlike Pappy Van Winkle, which you can like because it's single source and very limited, you can artificially jack up the price.
Yeah.
Maple syrup flows like water in Canada.
Yeah.
It's their national export.
Well, to the point where they have like a syrup reserve. They have like a Fort Knox of syrup that they're like, no, got to control the flow of it.
Yes, 100%.
Can't have it.
I'm not joking.
And so they have like this thing about the height on this show. They called it the maple syrup heist of the century. As if there's another maple syrup heist this century.
I hope there is.
Nobody knows. But over several months between 2011 and 2012, nearly 3,000 tons of maple syrup valued at $24.1 million were stolen from a storage facility in Quebec. So I don't know. Maybe this is just a continuation and there's going to be like the world's greatest pancake feed. If you're going to steal 3,000 tons of syrup, you need a truckload of butter for it.
I'm pancakes.
I'm connecting
Pancake
the dots
Mafia.
here.
Oh my God, you're right.
I'm connecting the dots here.
So here's the thing.
Either that or somebody really loves pound cake.
Well, they're trying to throw me off the scent. They're trying to throw me off this scent and be like, if we stagger these enough, what we can do
How do you
is
black
nobody
market
will
this,
notice.
Though? Like $60,000 worth of butter. Who are you selling it to?
You're not. Well, the black market IHOP, of course. I mean, why do you think
the
they can
Waffle
keep
House?
Why do you think they can keep prices so low?
Like.
I mean, cost is going up everywhere else except for that pancake. It's big pancake stealing.
Denny's is reintroducing like the 2-4-6-8 menu.
Dude, how amazing would that be if it's like Denny's for years?
Is the Waffle House like a mafia now?
Yeah.
Like they're trying to cut off IHOP in the knees by stealing butter?
You damn right. You could get those costs down. Could you imagine that though? Nobody ever saw it coming.
The butter
wages
thief
have
of the
gone
century.
up. Yeah.
Butter prices have skyrocketed.
Rent has gone up. How do they keep the prices low? They've been stealing truckloads of butter from Canada.
In 2024, police say a nearly 135% increase in butter theft compared to 2023.
Yeah, I don't buy it. Have you been to a grocery store lately? Have you seen these egg prices?
No, they're down a little bit.
They're down a little bit. They're coming creep back down.
It was $7 for my carton of brown eggs last week.
Yeah.
It was $12 2 weeks ago, which I wanted to strangle somebody. No, but as far as grocery stores, I very rarely go into grocery stores anymore. I have evolved to the delivery.
Oh.
I will pay the $8. Well, I have the yearly membership or whatever through my grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
The hour plus of time that it saves me is worth the $8.
Oh, no, I like going.
It's worth it to me.
See, I don't want somebody else picking up my produce.
That's a great point.
That's fair.
Dude, they'll screw that up. And then when they do the substitutions, get out of here with the substitutions.
I will say, I have not had a produce issue. They've done well with the produce. Where I run into it is the dates on meat.
Oh.
Like, when you buy the pack of chicken thighs. I don't want the packets going bad tomorrow.
Yeah.
Give me the one with like 3 or 4 days, dog, so I have some time to cook it.
Yeah, well, throw it in the freezer. You're good.
We got to thaw it back out. But anyways, butter theft up 135%, which is hilarious because they're tracking this. 2, there's 180 similar incidents being reported. They've launched a
lot of Denny's, a lot of Waffle House.
The service to launch Project Flaherty to address to address the thefts. I don't know what Flaherty has to do with it, and is Flaherty like butter in Irish?
I don't know.
But they arrested 3 suspects: a 22-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 28-year-old.
What are their names?
Vivajit Singh, Sukhmander Singh, and Dawal Sidhu.
I was expecting a Butter McButterface.
Yeah. Well, I was just cross-referencing this with the maple syrup thieves.
Well, there's also additional
Dick Valavery, Ray Valavery, Etienne Saint Pierre, Avik Karen, Sebastian Jurtas.
So you've got the French here and what appear to be the Indian here.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like the French mafia and Indian mafias?
Well,
what we got going?
They need to get Inspector Michael Gavareau on this. Boy, these are the most Quebec names ever.
Detective Clouseau?
Yeah. Inspector Michael Gavareau. Interesting. Well, they got him. We can sleep easy knowing that our butter's going to be safe.
They haven't got it all, but this is an interesting spot to wrap it up. Because, again, $60,000 worth of butter. How do you store that? Like, think about what $60,000 worth of butter looks like. If you're talking about a walk-in fridge, I'm not talking about at home. I'm like talking like a big like wholesaler's walk-in fridge.
Yeah,
$60,000 worth of butter. You can imagine wholesale. That's probably like 50 pallets.
Well, I'm just going with like the chest freezers.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody uses them to store bodies in their garage, Danny. You could probably fit a lot of butter in there.
Look, I'm just telling you right.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't store them. You dispose of them.
That's where we keep like the frozen corn dogs and popsicles and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Also, freezing butter's weird.
60,000 pounds of butter, maybe.
Not pounds. $60,000 worth of butter.
Oh, 60. How many pounds is that?
That's what I'm trying to do the rough math on that.
Well, are we talking wholesale or retail?
I'm going wholesale.
Boy, see.
Because a pound is about $6 here.
Well, it
but
depends on what you're buying.
That's retail. So if you, give or take.
I have no that's something like you guys are talking about this. I'm like, I have no idea how much the butter I buy weighs. How much is
you buy it by the pound?
You do?
That box is a pound.
How much could one banana cost? $10?
Yeah. But I think my butter cost, to be specific, I think it was like $4.39, which was what I paid for it like 2 or 3 days ago.
All right.
And if you're saying wholesale's probably what? 60% of that?
Sure. Yeah,
so $2. So if it's $60,000, you're talking about 30,000 of those.
Hot damn. It's pretty
30,000 pounds of butter.
Yeah, again,
Like, that's a lot of butter.
y'all are thinking in the granular. This is big picture thing. Connect the dots to the maple syrup
Well, no,
heist.
this is how you draw. This is how you make the connections. You have to have the facility to house 30,000 pounds of butter,
Yeah.
and if you're finding that alone will narrow down like what you're looking for. If you're also going, hey, that same facility also would house 50,000 pounds of syrup. Now you're narrowing down your facilities even more. So if you're trying to locate the headquarters, there's only so many buildings in the province of Peel that you could narrow this down to. So now I'm doing real police work.
Is there a Bisquick factory nearby?
Look, yeah, and then the amount of power necessary for the refrigeration, that also narrows it down.
I hope these guys are all just Robin Hooding this thing. And it's like they stole all this butter and they're just handing out sticks of butter. Can you imagine just driving down the street and they just throw you out a stick of butter? I'd be like, I don't even know what to do with this. I'm going to throw this away. I wouldn't trust that butter.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't know
sealed.
where this butter's coming from.
It's not sealed.
No.
Just in that little paper wrapping.
Wow. All right. Robin all the butters, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting spot to be.
Way to go, Canada.
All right. You want to pivot to some mild basketball and whether or not an MVP is worth the price?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you might. All right, we'll get to that here coming up next on Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan. The most disappointing team in the NBA this season, I think, is becoming entirely clear.
Who?
The Philadelphia 76ers are a
Heyo.
complete and abject disaster.
Wait, are they more disappointing than New Orleans?
Yes, because they were dysfunctional to begin with.
Ah, yeah, that is true.
Philadelphia, their dysfunction has been around Joel Embiid and his health, but Paul George was supposed to help supplant that, and Tyrese Maxey, and to an extent, Jared McCain.
Yeah.
McCain got hurt, and that's unfortunate, and it's not really his fault.
Yeah.
Paul George has been dinged up, but also, boy, did Father Time snatch his soul. And as good as Tyrese Maxey is, he's showing that where people thought, like, oh, he can be a number one guard. He can't. Not yet. He's more of a number two and a really good number three.
Ooh, who does number 2 work for?
Exactly. But even more than that, the Joel Embiid of it all is kind of insane. He has played 446 games in his career, and he has missed 400, which means think about his max contract, how much he has gotten paid under that max contract. Because remember, he missed his first 2 years in the NBA.
Yeah. He was addicted to Shirley Temples. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was the thing.
And Joel Embiid, I'm trying to think if there's anybody bigger in the league right now.
Like size-wise? Edie is,
that was
is
the first
just
one I
a
thought.
large human being.
But he's not as wide as Joel, because Joel, I think, is listed at like 290 or 300. Joel is 360, 370. Joel is, and I cannot emphasize how big of a human he is. He is
large
from
man.
side to side, front to back. Just he's Shaq-esque. He's built like Sabonis. Like, he's just enormous, and he falls to the ground all the time because he was taught how to fall to the ground. Because if he tries to stay up and gets off axis, he hurts something.
All right, your heaviest players in the NBA according to NBA 2K. Coming in at number 6 is Joel Embiid at 280 pounds.
Not a chance. He's
number 5,
80 pounds heavier.
Brooke Lopez, 282.
That's actually believable because Brooke's actually not that thick.
Number 4, Zion Williamson, 284.
No, well, he is there.
I guess it would be tied for 3.
He's there now. He was at 330.
Nikola Jokic, also 284.
He's there now.
Yusuf Nurkic, 290 pounds.
He's below that now.
And then Zach Edey, 305 pounds.
He's about there. Donovan Clingan's 290. So
Donovan Clingan listed at 265.
Yeah, absolutely not. Donovan Clingan's 290 pounds.
All right.
And look at Donovan Clingan next to Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I will say on this list, because I was just thinking of very large human beings, he has slimmed down a little bit as he's gotten older, but Jonas Valanciunas used to be enormous too.
Yeah, no, he trimmed down a ton. I mean, Nurk, one of the biggest issues he had was when he originally lost weight, he didn't know how to play. Because part of how he played was he leaned on you.
Bully ball.
And he just leaned, Zach Randolph. He'll just lean on you. Fourth quarter, you're like, this 340-pound dude has been leaning on me for 30 minutes. Get him out of here.
I'm done. No mas.
But you've had guys like Jonas and Jokic and Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol was a big dude. He was a chubby boy.
Thick man.
I mean, he leaned out a ton.
2 C's. Yeah. Do you venture to guess how much Joel Embiid has been paid to sit on the bench? I have the figure.
$160 million?
He has been paid in his 400 games on the bench $125,695,189 to not play in basketball games. That pencils out to $314,237.97 per game.
Which great money if you can find it. And again,
are you kidding?
And to kind of swing this back to what I started this with, he missed his first 2 years.
Yeah.
So where a big chunk of those games comes in that portion when he was on a rookie scale contract.
Yeah.
So it lets you know that even on a rookie scale, here's the thing. I've had people tell me that work in front offices around the NBA.
So it's 164 games that he missed then? Yeah.
So nearly half of that total. But with that, Joel Embiid came into the NBA draft with not 1, not 2, 3 medical red flags.
Yeah.
And he still went 3rd overall.
Well,
that's how overwhelming his talent was.
He didn't go first.
No, he didn't. But I have talked to people who have all said, if you told me what he has done in his career, even with all the missed games and everything else, I'd still take him number one in that draft.
Really?
Yeah, and that's
Well, who went number one in that draft?
Oh God, was that no? It wasn't Nerlens. God, why do I always forget his draft?
I don't know.
Drives me crazy. I'm getting too old.
That'd be 2014.
Was that?
That would.
That was
be
Wiggins. Wiggins Parker.
Yeah, I would have taken him.
Yeah,
I would have taken him number one. Oh, you want to do redraft of that draft?
Yeah.
How about that was our Chalupa draft or Cheesy Gordita draft?
Yes.
Nikola Jokic would be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't even be close right there. Then you would probably go Joel Embiid, Julius Randle,
or Jeremy Grant. Jeremy was taking 2 picks in front of Jokic.
Yeah.
2nd round pick.
Yeah, I think people would still take Julius Randle though, right? I mean,
Probably.
Yeah.
I would say it's close. That's what I'm saying. Like,
And then Aaron Gordon,
Levine.
yeah. Marcus Smart in there.
Jabari
Sauce Castillo.
Jabari Parker was the guy in that draft that I believed in the most. His knees exploding were the problem there.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I mean, his knees just turned to tinder.
Well, God bless you, Joel Embiid. Living the dream, man. $125 million not to play basketball. 440 games or 400 games missed, 446 that he's played. Boy. That's incredible.
Tough place to be.
Well, not for him.
No, it's great money for him.
That's a great place to be if you're Joel Embiid.
He's avoided the Ben Simmons slander for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Because he's actually like
Viable
played more
when
and
he's been playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens. You want to talk about some sports business?
Yes. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Some sports business.
Sure. Yeah.
You and I have debated
Let's
this
get
for
the
a little
business.
while.
Let's get the business in.
There's a story coming out about the Big Ten in particular, and them possibly dipping their toes in some private equity. Something they said they weren't going to do just weeks ago. We'll get to that here in hour number 3 on Danny and Dusty, 10 the Fan.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys into whom you can place your trust. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan, the Blazers have won 5 of their last 6 games. They continue their homestand tonight with the Orlando Magic in town. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. Matisse Thybulle is out. Jeremy Grant questionable with ankle soreness. The Blazers are 5.5-point home dogs. An NBA doubleheader on TNT this evening. First, tipping at 4 o'clock, the Hawks at the Cavaliers. That's followed at 6:30 by the number 2 and 3 teams in the West, the Rockets at the Grizzlies. In college ball, number 16 Oregon in Los Angeles to face UCLA tonight at Pauley Pavilion, 7:30 tip. Coverage right here on The Fan starts at 7 o'clock immediately following primetime. The Ducks are 4.5-point dogs. And the Portland Pilots also in LA to face the Lions of Loyola Marymount. Tip at 7 o'clock. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. The Pilots are 12-point road dogs. And round 1 of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am from Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill. And at the top of the leaderboard, a 3-way tie currently. Jake Knapp, Justin Rose, Cam Davis, all in the clubhouse after 7 under 65. Rory McIlroy is 1 stroke back. He shot a 6 under 66. 2 strokes off the pace are Scotty Scheffler and Patrick Cantlay. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Slam Dunk in Vegas is our nationwide contest for a chance to have the ultimate tournament viewing experience with 3 of your friends. More info at 1080thefan.com.
Portland, if you've ever wondered where to get your Blazers, Ducks, and Bees, it's right here on the airwaves of 1080. 1080 The Fan with Danny and Dusty. It's Danny and Dusty and Rust from noon till 3.
Hour number 3 here on Danny and Dusty. We'll be listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan or twitch.tv /1080 AM The Fan. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this wonderful, wonderful Thursday afternoon. And this popped up really as we were getting ready to kick off today's show. And we've batted this idea around and whether or not it would be something that would happen. But after, I guess, being against it, the Big Ten might now be for it. There are reports now that the Big Ten is actively seeking preliminary bids from private equity firms after retaining an investment bank. That investment bank is Evercore. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti has flat out said we are not interested in doing this. As recently, I believe it was like 3 weeks ago. And now they expressed skepticism about the upside of private equity. That seems to have gone out the window. I would imagine somebody got their money right, and they went, yeah, that's a lot of money. Should we say no to that?
Yeah, this is going to be tricky, though, because any investment firm that comes in is going to want to get their cut back, right? Mm-hmm. Remember when the Big 12 was going through this, what is like an $800 million investment with like a 15 to 20% stake in the conference? That means they're going to want to get their money on the back end of this thing. How does that look with the House settlement? Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that Petitti was always, cautious about or apprehensive of with these investment firms is like, look, there's nothing in what he's said before is there's nothing that they can do for us that we can't do ourselves, right? Because having the Big 12 do it or the ACC do it, they need an injection of cash flow because they can't actually do it right now.
No.
Like they can't keep up with the Joneses. If the Joneses say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and we're going to add some of our own. That could be like what truly buries everybody else. I just don't see how, as it stands, and maybe this may be a sign of, look, all of these public institutions, you're privatizing college sports.
Yep.
And this may be kind of either due diligence and just seeing what is out there and how that could look, or it could be when this House settlement goes, boy, it's gonna go down a road of straight up privatizing college athletics.
Yeah, which ultimately there's plenty of arguments against it, but the reason why it becomes privatized is what were we talking about yesterday? collective bargaining, unions.
Yep.
Like we're careening down that path.
Man, I just think, and I think that this is being leaked out there because you know that the next, what is it? I think in two weeks, the Big Ten and the SEC are meeting,
Mhm.
and in that meeting,
This is going to come up.
they're getting their ducks in a row of, all right, what does this look like for us?
Mhm.
How are we going to position ourselves to be in a position of power moving forward if all of these other conferences do get an injection of money and they have their own flow? Because make no mistake, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, because what
for
if the Big
conferences.
12, what if the private equity in Texas, i.e. oil, decides that they're going
what
to
is-
be
What's in it for them, though?
prestige and probably money on the back end? That's the thing, is I think this is money on the back end. And if you're talking about the private equity that they're kind of talking about, these aren't firms that are looking for immediate return on investment. This is long haul forecasting type stuff. This is like, again, I'm not saying the Saudi money, but like that's the kind of when those kind of private equity firms come in, they're looking for the power vacuum and the long tail run out. And now it may cost them and it might bite them and it might fail, but I think the institution of college football is so strong and so reinforced. They're looking at that as going, this isn't something that's risky. It may take a very long time for us to get it back, but the long tail of getting it back is significantly
that's
worth
where
it.
I see it as this is far more dicey. It's far more of a gamble on the investment firm side of it, or private equity side of it, than it is from the conference level, right? Because the conferences, Big Ten just signed a $7 billion television deal. Okay. But if you're the private equity firm, how much has college football changed and college athletics changed in the last 6 months? How much has it changed in the last 6 years?
Yeah, the
how much has
valuation
it
on it can
changed
change.
in the last decade? No, I'm just talking about the actual rules of governance.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like,
right?
That
Like,
changes the valuation standard. And like,
no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the entire landscape of college sports is completely different.
Yes.
And getting involved in something that is so tumultuous right now, that is a gamble. And that's where I say, I don't know if it's the best idea for the private equity firm, because coming over the top might be the United States government saying, this isn't going to happen. We're done here.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's where I'm saying that's not the investment going up. The investment obviously has gone up, but you don't know. The federal government could just come in and say, nope, done, because we have no idea where it's going to go right now.
The valuation part of it is what I'm saying. It's not stagnant. That's the volatility in it with how everything has changed in the last 6 years is the thing that I think would make them have pause. But if you're talking about the college football as an institution, because it's of what it is, I think those two things are very separate. And to your point, yes, the valuation of it could be all over the place because of how volatile it is. Because here's the exact number that they're talking about. This group was they're talking that this is from Yahoo Sports a couple weeks ago, the Super League, the Project Rudy thing. Okay, this was a 70-team Super League. Okay, this is Smash Capital, which, what a stupid name. It's former Disney executives, so what do you expect? But there's 4 power conferences, and it was 70-team Super League. They would be infused with $9 billion in cash right out of the gate. $9 billion in cash. You just talked about a TV deal for an entire 18 teams in the Big Ten now. $7 billion over, what was that, eight years? I don't
think it was quite.
It was a 6 or 8.
I don't know how long it was.
It wasn't like the 15-year that the ACC signed. That nightmare fuel. But I remember it being a little bit longer, if I'm not mistaken. It was a 6 or an 8. But
7 year.
7. Okay, smack that in the middle. So it was $1 billion a year. They're talking about $9 billion investment up front.
Yeah,
that is again, you're talking a lot more teams, 70 versus 18. You're more than tripling it, but you're more than tripling the investment.
Yes.
Like that's nuts.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of schools that get out of it. And look, I don't know the value of college football in the ties to it. If it gets too tied up in that big money there, and it becomes truly privatized, I don't know if it will have the same weight. I think the ties to the universities would get further and further apart. And that's good. That's like the dicey part
Ties
of
in
where,
name only.
Yeah, and I don't think it would have that draw as much as it would have. Like, this is such a weird time for college athletics.
It's a weird time for the world. Everything is becoming more isolated.
Yeah. And that's where
and
like
monetized.
private equity, it's a gamble.
Oh, look,
for them.
I don't think they should do it. Let me state that clearly. I don't think they should do it.
Could you imagine like major colleges shutting down because they have to foot the bill because the private equity firm comes back and is like, "Hey, we want our money now."
I don't know. Some of those fake degrees might go away. I wouldn't necessarily be against that. Underwater basket weaving. You know.
Isn't that that's just a class? You can't major in that. If you can, I'd love that.
San Diego State had you're right. It was a class.
Surfing.
They do major in surfing. There was another one that they have. It was either San Diego State or USD. I can't remember. That was, God, what was it? Something else ocean related where it was like beach going.
Nice.
And I was like, yo, what?
Yeah. I mean, I think Southern has outdoor recreation as a major.
Oh, there you go.
Where, I mean, you're basically, like, it is park ranger, managing, ski resort, stuff like that. It's pretty badass.
Which, I mean, that one,
yeah,
that has some specificity to it. Like, it sounds cool and
well,
fun.
it sounds like you're walking around in the woods for your degree.
But one of them was like
You
beach
get to
going.
go outside and play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Which not a bad one.
Kickball.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
this is going to be an interesting thing to monitor because this is not going to happen overnight.
No.
Well, there's just too much money for this to just.
If you're the Big
click on.
12 or any other conference,
ACC,
though,
yep.
this is the warning sign, though, that the Big 10 and SEC, they will try to bury you.
Well, speaking of warning signs, the NBA is putting up a giant flashing warning sign. Do not gamble. Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat is now under investigation, federal investigation, after being linked to a potential gambling scandal, the same one that took down Toronto Raptors two-way player and brother of Michael Porter Jr., Jonte Porter, and has him in some serious, serious trouble. We'll get to that here next on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Oh boy. No way. Gambling in sports is a problem?
What?
No, come on. That's not a thing. Scary Terry. Terry Rozier.
I don't think is Scary Terry. Is that been stripped from Terry Rozier to Terry McLaurin? I don't think a nickname as identifiable has gone to another person so quickly.
Yeah, it's because he was in obscurity in Charlotte.
Yeah, but it was like Scary Terry in Boston. It was like,
I guess there was a lot of time between the two LTs.
yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson and Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah,
but it was like
one of them's a king.
But they're still like in the same realm. Like they're in the same era here with Terry McLaurin and Terry Rozier. But it was just like everybody's like, yeah, no, sorry, Rozier. We found somebody else way more scary, and it's Terry McLaurin. But I digress. Terry Rozier, what did he do?
He was originally cleared by the NBA in the same case and probe that led to the lifetime ban of Raptors player and brother Michael Porter Jr., Jonte Porter, from a game in 2023 where a group of individuals collectively bet the under, and Jonte Porter sold hard and then left the game. And it was like I think the bet ended up being like $100,000, which it's a fair amount of money, but boy, going to jail for that seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, I wonder why there was flagged a $100,000 bet on a prop bet for Jonte Porter,
of which has led to the league taking two-way players off of those. Now, in the federal probe that is ongoing as it pertains to Terry Rozier is from a game March 23rd of 2023.
Okay.
And this is the statement from the NBA. In March of 23, the NBA was alerted to unusual betting activity related to Terry Rozier's performance at a game against Charlotte and New Orleans, not New Orleans. The league conducted an investigation, did not find a violation of NBA rules. We are now aware of an investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Eastern District of New York related to this matter and been cooperating with that investigation.
So
the NBA better not find, or the Justice Department here better not find out the NBA swept something under the rug.
Yeah, okay.
Because Adam Silver will be packed up and launched into the sun, and Terry Rozier will go to jail.
The NBA out there bird boxing it.
You read a tweet earlier from a guy?
Yeah,
right?
Let me pull that back up.
Yeah, it was like a guy had tweeted out that he won money on a Terry Rozier prop bet because of the fact that he was going to leave the game early and at some point.
Yeah, so this is from Greg Ehrenberg, who he's the director of daily fantasy content at Stochastic.com. This is a tweet from said game, March 23rd, 2023. As I say, it's a quote tweet. And it's a quote tweet in response to Adam Shearer. Oh, man, Books pulled Rozier's lines, then he got hurt mid-game. And he says, Greg Ehrenberg is about to have a time of his life. Ehrenberg quote tweet says, at least I was in on it today. Got lucky I was fed some inside info that Rozier was leaving in the first or second quarter, depending on game flow and live lines, so that his unders would hit.
Don't tweet your crimes. This is against the law.
This is a...
is
Terry? I don't know, Terry.
Yeah.
Situation.
I mean, this
Brother!
is like the guy who got the Alabama baseball coach fired, who was like, hey, coach told me the starting pitcher's not going to, I need to place this bet when he was at the sports book. You don't tell your crimes to everybody.
Now, does this necessarily indicate that Terry Rozier is the one involved?
No.
This could be coaching. This could be staff members on the coaching staff or tangential support staff.
You said it was January of 2023?
March 23rd, 2023, Charlotte, New Orleans.
Okay, so Charlotte that year was 27-55.
Oh, they were tanking.
They were 27-55 at the end of that. It's the 2022-2023 season then. And at that point in the year, you said it was March?
March 23rd, 2023.
Okay. They were in a stretch where they had lost 2-4. That was their fifth loss in the last 6 games. And then immediately following that, they won 3 in a row over Dallas twice and then Oklahoma City once, and then lost 4 games in a row and won their final game. Boy, that's a little peculiar though that they lose 5 out of 6 and then go on a 3-game win streak immediately after this. But that seems like a team that was trying to tank and lose.
Well, here's the thing. The federal probe is highlighting some sports books offered Rozier prop bets on that night. Again, March 23rd, 2023. His totals for that night were generally set at around 21.5 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. On March 23rd, then took them down hours before the start of the Charlotte-New Orleans game. It was not clear why that happened, and some bettors weren't allowed why that unusual move had taken place. Rozier was not listed on the team's injury report going into the game.
Yeah, so this could be the team edict. Like, we see this on the text line all the time, right? Where players are like, why is Ant playing this many minutes if they're trying not to win games? This could not be Terry Rozier in particular. This could be like, as you said, a support staff member. This could be like a video guy saying, hey, man, coaches meeting, by the way, they're only going to play Terry in the first quarter.
Like, which, faking some injuries, something along those lines. Look, speaking of said Hornets, remember the Blazers and Hornets were playing just a matter of, 10 days ago?
I believe you called that the great suck-off.
I did. And why? How did that game start? Was it very tight, even with LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges sitting?
I'm not going to lie to you, Danny. When you told me this is going to be the great suck-off, I didn't watch that game because you said this is going to be terrible basketball. I don't remember
Charlotte
a lick
Hornets
of that game.
Either got a 12 or a 14-point lead in that first quarter.
Oh.
And it was maybe good for the tank, right? It's not a bad place to be.
This is fine, guys. This is good. This is good.
But then the Martin twin, who was having a nice little game, suddenly was pulled from the game.
Ew. Dang.
Weird how that happened.
Huh.
Now, at least going into that game, he was listed on the injury report, but shenanigans were afoot. Everybody I've talked to about that game was like, yeah, no, Charlotte wasn't going to win that game.
Cody Martin, 5 minutes. Yanked.
Mm-hmm. What was his line?
He was 0 for 1 riband, 1 assist. Yeah. Yikes.
Not often that you play. They were like, how can we do something here that maybe Ant will get going or Shaden will get going? Or
but is this a problem with Terry Rozier, or is this a problem with teams tanking in the NBA and betting? Because of how many people could become aware of, hey, this guy ain't going to hit the over. They're not trying to win this game. Because I think on the surface, this looks like really bad for Terry Rozier, and it might be very bad for Terry Rozier.
Look, it could be. And again, he is not under indictment.
Yeah.
There's a federal probe.
But they're looking into this and being like, was this the player, or could this be a product of the team? And then when information about how the team is going to approach a game gets leaked out, and then all of a sudden we have bigger issues afoot here. But obviously there was a red flag put up by the sportsbook because big money came in and they took his props off, right? And they
most of the books did, but some of them didn't because they didn't catch word of whatever it was.
Well, they either didn't catch word or they didn't have significant, because when they will take a bet off
when they're leveraged,
because it's like, wait a minute, there's way too much coming in here. Like there's $100,000 bet on Jonte Porter. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and remove this one.
Yeah, because they have an algorithm that detects all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they've got people, it's not even a joke. They have people from MIT who make millions of dollars who go work in Vegas. I spent time with the president of a sports book in Summer League last year and got to have an understanding of how they set lines and the things that they do and, kind of not the secret sauce, but got to peek inside the factory and the stuff that they do and how they do it. Brother, you wouldn't believe how much money they spend to do this stuff, and it's nothing compared to what they bring in.
Worth every penny.
So they literally bring in the smartest people on the planet. NASA can't get these guys because Vegas pays them so much money.
Not bad.
Like that's not even kidding. Like that's where these guys. They're literal rocket scientists who will come work for them and go, yeah, no, we'll help you do the math on this so you can make more millions.
Speaking of rocket science, did you see the new asteroid that they found the other day?
No, is it going to hit us soon?
No, it turns out wasn't an asteroid. It was the stupid Tesla that Elon Musk launched into space 7 years ago.
Wait, really? Was it actually? I hope so.
I don't.
That'd be more fun.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. But yeah, no, the lines here that did stay on.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I gotta Google this.
No, I'm looking. I wanted to make sure I didn't get got by this because I figured that a couple of you guys would have found this. But there's several outlets that are reporting this newly discovered near-Earth asteroid isn't an asteroid at all. It's Elon Musk's trashed Tesla.
He just fired it into space. I didn't know he did that.
Astronomers have retracted the discovery of a new asteroid after realizing the object was the remains of Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster and its driver Starman, which were launched into space in 2018.
Wow, did he actually try to shoot something into the sun? Because I always want to do that.
Too bad it wasn't himself.
I love the fact that it is looped back around. They're like, we'll never see this thing again. It'll end up on Mars. Nope. Coming right back.
Gravitational pull, baby. It went into orbit. But to a little put
Starman was driving Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Put a bow on this for now. The federal probe is open, but if you think this is going to stop here, look, gambling and official gambling ties, particularly in the NBA, it's the most manipulative sport that can be gambled on in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like baseball, you can with pitching a little bit, but there's so much, variety that can happen there. Basketball, you can shave points easily.
Sure can.
And you don't even have to make it look like anything. You can just have a bad shooting night.
Manipulative sport.
It's simple, and it's going to be interesting to see if this turns into the end of the gambling partnerships as it pertains to the NBA in general. All right, come up next.
Hold on, I got one more thing on this.
Oh, yeah.
In the Tesla Roadster that was launched into space, David Bowie's album Space Oddity is playing on loop. Wonder if the battery's still rolling on that.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably done by now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's Tesla.
Damn.
So, all right, come up next. Let's take a little trip down to the Senior Bowl. Shall we?
Sure, yeah.
Get some news and notes coming out of that. Come up next here. But first, the Big Kahuna Sports and Update.
You ever had a big kahuna burger?
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Blazers are winners of 5 of their last 6 games. The homestand continues tonight. The Orlando Magic are in town. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2 on your antenna. That's also Xfinity Channel 302. Matisse Thybulle is out. Jeremy Grant questionable. The Blazers are 5.5-point underdogs. An NBA doubleheader on TNT this evening, tipping at 4 o'clock. It's the Hawks at the Cavaliers. That's followed at 6:30 by the number 2 and number 3 teams in the West, the Rockets at the Grizzlies. Number 16, Oregon men's hoops in Los Angeles to face UCLA tonight at Pauley Pavilion. 7:30 tip. Coverage right here on The Fan starts at 7 immediately following primetime. The Ducks are 4.5-point dogs. The Portland Pilots also in LA to face the Lions of Loyola Marymount. Tip at 7 o'clock. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. The Pilots are 12-point road dogs. John Heyman of MLB Network reports Max Scherzer and the Blue Jays in agreement on a 1-year, $15.5 million deal pending a physical. And round 1 of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am at Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill winding down for the afternoon. Currently a 5-way tie. Jake Knapp, Justin Rose, Cam Davis, Russell Henley and Lucas Glover are all at 7 under par. Among those, 1 stroke back are Rory McIlroy and Patrick Cantlay. Scotty Scheffler and Justin Thomas are 2 strokes off the pace at 5 under par. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Did you score a smart speaker over the holidays? Just ask it to play 1080 The Fan.
I'm ready. You ready, Bill?
I'm ready, Slick. Are you?
Oh, yeah.
2025 Senior Bowl is ongoing down in it's Mobile, right?
Mobile, Alabama.
And there's some folks showing out. There's some folks showing, oops, maybe I shouldn't have come here. But a couple of Oregon Ducks have had themselves a nice little showing over the process.
Yeah, it's crazy how the Senior Bowl has kind of transformed into a place where it can be a separator for a lot of guys, and you can see a lot of the notoriety and start to build, and draft stock really does rise because you have high-level players that are going, and they are actually playing really well and participating in these things. I mean, I think to last year, this is really where Ladd McConkey's stock went through the roof. It's where Quinyon Mitchell, his stock went absolutely skyrocketed. For linemen,
did it work for them?
Yeah, it worked really well for both of those guys. But they were also high-level players in college too, and they got to be seen on a stage around everybody else that they're competing for these spots with. And so I think it's cool that the Reese's Senior Bowl has kind of taken the mantle as the premier Senior Bowl game and kind of farewell. And, there's a whole, I think there's 6 Ducks participating in it. 8 were invited. I think 2 went and did measurements and then
called it good.
And then kind of called it good there. But yeah, I mean, yesterday Josh Connerly, he got dump trucked by Mike Green, like the Marshall defensive lineman.
Yeah, it was like a bullet being shot out of a gun because he's given up 80 pounds, if not more.
I mean, he timed that snap up. He got under Connerly. Connerly was standing too high. Got boop.
Low man won.
I also think it's hilarious that people are like his draft stock's plummeting now.
No,
one rep doesn't.
It's a fun little moment.
But do you see what Mike Green did? He said, "Nope, I'm good."
Yeah.
He left.
He put it on tape and said, "That's what I can do."
Yeah. By the way, I had 17 and a half sacks this year. Yeah. I'm out. I showed you guys what I can do. I put all the good tape out. Yeah. I'm good.
I don't need to show you anymore.
Hell yeah.
You go at a guy who's looked at as a late first, early second round type tackle, and you tea kettle him.
Yeah.
And it's not like that's he kind of got him. Sometimes those. No, he rolled him.
Yeah, he did. He got him good.
It happens, but when you get that thing on tape and you've had the production you've had, pack it up, get to the combine, baby.
We're out. We'll see you guys later. It was good. It was nice everybody meeting you. Goodbye. But I mean, that ultimately won't determine Josh Connerly's stock.
No.
Dylan Gabriel, whose measurements 5'10" and a half is what he came in at. His hand size was fine. Like yesterday, there was this thing going on that he would set like the record for velocity out of his hand.
Like by a lot too,
but he didn't.
Okay. Yeah, the measurement and where it takes place is completely different. Than the combine.
They at the Senior Bowl they register it out of the hand, and so it wasn't even the fastest one yesterday at the Senior Bowl, but it caught waves and caught attention. He is actually having a really good Senior Bowl, and people are raving about it. Due to seeing everything you could see in football. His intelligence is not what is going to be a problem for him. It's going to be his size.
Overcoming the size.
And look, a lot of quarterbacks have tried to do that and tried to overcome that. That's not going to be the thing. Dylan Gabriel is as smart as they get. Arm slots, he can do it from any arm slot. But, nobody's expecting him to be a first or second round pick.
No.
Third round
And he's
pick.
not changing anybody's mind with that here.
No, he isn't.
But he could solidify himself as potentially a third round kind of guy.
2 guys that are absolutely solidifying their place in the NFL. Dude, Tez Johnson is a small guy. He was 5'9" and
156.
Yeah, 156 pounds. He is seen as, man, CBS Sports had him as one of the stock risers of the Senior Bowl because everybody knew he was slight. I mean, you watch him and you're like, it's a small guy.
But he's also playing with Dylan Gabriel, which is a nice way to have that rapport.
But what he is getting is separation against everyone. And that has kind of been the reoccurring theme is Tez is he's not just fast. Tez is a really good route runner. And I don't know what the NFL has for him because he's 5'9", 156 pounds.
I think we put him as the lightest guy in the NFL.
He is, but his speed, his awareness, the fact that we've seen him do this, and he said this in a post-game interview, and I was like, wait, what? Because he says when he catches the ball, he looks for the third guy. First 2 guys he's gonna make them miss.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes are always on third guy. And you see that when in games, like Tez will either catch the ball and just go down and be like, no,
Not this time.
first two guys, they're going to get me. I'm going to go down. But he has that knack of, all right, where's the third guy? I'm going to go down. That's it. And you have to have that awareness when you're that small.
Yeah, because you get hit in the NFL when
Can't take shots.
guys are taking, you got guys that are 100 pounds heavier regularly, let alone one of them big boys up front.
Mm-hmm. But the other guy who's impressing and was on the CBS Sports Draft Stock Risers was Jeffrey Bassa, a guy who came in as a safety at Oregon. They bumped him down into the box. He played middle linebacker, but where he
on his bones,
they green dotted him. So as the guy calling the shots for, the defenses for, I think the Browns are coaching his team.
Okay, yep.
So he's got all the helmet communications in there. He's a guy that apparently is impressing based on the fact that he can cover backs out and tight ends very effectively. And that's kind of where Bassa will stick in the NFL.
It's that tweener.
He will be a special teams guy, and he will be a third down linebacker that you can trust can play sideline to sideline
type.
And he can defend backs out, tight ends, and you're going to be okay there. But, I mean, those two guys, Tez and Bassa, being on the Draft Stock Risers, that's good for them, man. And, if you've never heard Bassa speak too, that dude is sharp.
Oh, yeah, we had
He
him
is sharp.
on the Big Ten days,
Yep.
the media days. I mean, that's a great dude.
He's awesome.
One of the biggest maybe fallers so far has been Jalen Milroe. And Todd McShay said, he threw a nice deep ball, and he can do that. And he goes, I think you can sense a butt coming, but he can't throw it short or intermediate. And it's like, he can't throw it short or intermediate? That seems like a problem. That seems like where quarterbacks live in the NFL. So
he had 8 3/4 inch hands.
Yeah.
Which is the only quarterback in the NFL who did not have 9-inch hands was Taysom Hill last year.
Oof.
The only one.
Yikes.
And like right as I turned on the Senior Bowl and I read that, I looked up at the screen and
threw the ball to the ground.
No, he went to cock back and the ball just went whoop right out of his hand.
All right, coming up next, we'll finish up today's show with a little look at Blazers Magic. Danny and Dustin and the fan.
Ooh.
Portland Trailblazers take on the Orlando Magic here in a couple hours. Oh, yeah. Paolo Banchero had, I was just talking with somebody last night about this. Paolo Banchero had his worst game, I think, as a professional, and maybe the worst game I've ever seen him play, including high school and college.
Yeah.
Going 1 of 14 with 5 turnovers.
Okay.
I have a reeling suspicion that is not going to happen tonight.
That's okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Somebody in the text line said, should I bet on the Trailblazers tonight? And my answer to any of you asking about whether or not you should bet on the Trailblazers is no, do not. There's far too much volatility. Now, on the spread, they're actually over the last 2 weeks, I want to say within a point of like average. But that can vary because remember, when they were 7.5-point dogs in Miami, they were 6-point dogs in Orlando on that trip. And then they were the game that they lost. What was the game? Oklahoma City. They were 14-point dogs and they covered.
Oh.
So
you're telling me Paolo, we have a plus 105 odds at 25 points.
Well, I don't think he's had too many monster games lately. I think he's what did you say he was 19 for 57 coming in yesterday?
Yeah, it's been really bad.
Again, that's take the 1 of 14 out of it. He's 18 for.
He's shooting 33% over his last 5 games.
Yeah, even if you take that one game out, he's still shooting in the low 40s. Not great for a guy who doesn't shoot from the field. He gets to the rim.
Yeah.
So, my PSA: don't bet the Blazers. Don't bet props, particularly in the NBA.
Yeah. Yes. As we learned in the 215 segment.
Yeah, it's number one, they could get taken off the board. Number two, there's just too much volatility in the NBA. Now, you can find some value in some spreads, certainly, but they're in more veteran teams.
100%.
Young teams, volatility reigns supreme.
Hey, BT Dubs, have you guys seen the snow forecast?
Yep, snowpocalypse, here we come.
It's supposed to be warm, though, but...
it's not going to stick. Yeah, maybe not for you guys.
Yeah,
They always get more down in the valley.
Maybe up in the hills. Maybe up in the hills. All right. By the way, that's not like today or tomorrow. That's like next week.
Yeah.
That'll do it for us today.
You don't tell me what to do.
Is it still Football Friday tomorrow?
I don't know. It's only the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl Friday?
There's no football.
No.
Because they only play flag.
That's right.
Womp womp.
That's right. All right, 4 hours of power. The band is back together. Primetime with Isaac and Sook from 3 to 7. Have a great afternoon, everybody. We will see you tomorrow from noon to 3 right here on The Fan.
Bye.
Smiles and glory holes.
Or maybe they want to do a little dump on you.
That is an atrocity.